What's good? This is JVB representing SPD, and that is SportsPerDiem.com. So why is Dominick Cruz getting the UFC bantamweight title shot against Henry Cejudo on May 9th at UFC 249 in Jacksonville, Florida? It's quite simple. Dana White and the UFC, this is the MO. They love doing this. They don't care about who deserves a title shot. It's about the name. It's about the drawing power. And it's not like Henry Cejudo versus Dominick Cruz. It's not like it's going to break box office records. It's not like Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz too, It ain't like that. It's not like a big box office draw that everybody's been clamoring to see. It's just Henry Cejudo getting the opportunity to choose who he wants to fight. It's Henry Cejudo going out talking about Uriah Faber and Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo and Dominick Cruz, all these old-time champions. All these future Hall of Famers, and in Uriah Faber's case, he is a current UFC Hall of Famer, but that's what Henry Cejudo wants, and Dana White and the UFC, they're going to oblige. More so because Henry Cejudo was slated to fight Jose Aldo at UFC 250 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, but of course that fight got scrapped, so Dana White gave him another opportunity to fight a big-name legend. And in this case, it's former bantamweight champion Dominick Cruz, who may be the greatest bantamweight champion in UFC history. But even though Dominick Cruz has had his fair share of injuries over the last 5 to 6 years, of course he lost his last fight and the UFC bantamweight championship to Cody Garbrandt all the way in December of 2016. And during this whole period, he's been honing his craft as a broadcaster for the UFC back when they were on Fox and now with ESPN. But he's a pretty damn good analyst. He does a great job breaking things down during the fights. He does little videos with Gilbert Melendez breaking down fighters. He's a very good broadcaster. I'm just not sure, especially coming off a long layoff, over 3 years. Jumping all the way up to a title shot against Henry Cejudo, who is corny as hell. But you got to give the man his props. He is a very good fighter. He is in the prime of his career. And it's going to be very difficult for Dominick Cruz to defeat this guy on May 9th at UFC 249. Now, can Dominick Cruz on May 9th pull off the upset? Could he defeat Henry Cejudo at UFC 249? Yes. That's the simple answer. But will he do it? Unfortunately, I'll say no. And it's not like I wouldn't want to see that. It'll be nice to see Dominick Cruz clown Henry Cejudo, bouncing in and out, light on his feet, jump in with the jabs, jump in with the cross, frustrate Henry, probably get a couple of surprise takedowns in there, and walk away with a decision victory, becoming a new UFC bantamweight champion once again. That'd be a great moment. Unfortunately, I just don't believe that's going to happen. I think Henry Cejudo is going to be too strong for Dominick. Dominick Cruz has a slender frame, especially in the leg department. I think Henry Cejudo is going to attack those legs. Got to also remember that Dominick Cruz has torn his ACL. But I do believe that at the end of the day, Henry Cejudo will leave the UFC bantamweight champion still. And hopefully after this, Dana White and the UFC will come to their damn senses and give one of these guys the title shot that actually earned it. Guys like Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling, Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes. Give one of those guys the opportunity next. Enough of this wanting to fight Jose Aldo and Dominick Cruz and Uriah Faber and Frankie Edgar. Those guys should be fighting each other, to be honest. Dominick Cruz versus Frankie Edgar? Dominick Cruz versus Jose Aldo? Those some nice fights right there. And maybe that's what Dominick Cruz truly needed. Not a tune-up fight, because those not easy fights. But he probably needs a fight to break that rust, because the first time he came back after all the injuries, he fought Mizugaki, and he beat him like in the first round or something like that. He finished him. Yeah, that's nice, but that wasn't a championship fight. That was a fight on the prelims, if I remember. The pressure wasn't as high as it's going to be on May 9th. On May 9th, you're fighting one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Not the best, but one of the best. You're fighting that guy in his prime. You're trying to take his title away from him. man, I really believe a fight to get the cobwebs off, that would have been perfect for Dominick. But my man Dominick Cruz getting right into it, coming right from the broadcast booth, right back into the octagon, getting the UFC bantamweight title shot against Henry Cejudo. I don't think he's going to win. The odds are definitely against him, but let's see what happens. Let's see if he can shock the world on May 9th and prove yet again that ring rust don't matter. But I'm out. Like the video and share the video. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take it easy. God bless. Peace.